And we are live.
That was the second time I got crabs.
And welcome back to another episode of the Baseline Bums podcast. It's your host, Rob, a.k.a. B-Ball Archives. And once again, I got the bums in the house. AJ, James, thanks for joining me this evening. It is a wonderful evening. Thanks for being here. We got a lot of fun stuff to get to. We got some Project Marvel to get to. We got some Wemby off-season glazing. We got a lot of fun topics to get to. But first and foremost, how are the two of you doing?
Oh, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Just beautiful.
No HOA problems, James?
No. Well, actually, yes, but you know what? Fuck them.
Well, sometimes you got to rise above and realize, I'm not even going to deal with that. That's not going to worry you. That's not going to affect my mood today.
Yeah.
Or
what army?
Or just run for HOA president.
Dismantle it from
at the
inside.
next meeting. Just walk up, just walked up and go, "I'm in," and people will be like, "Oh, okay, he's in." Whatever. No one cares about those meetings.
All we have is food trucks in the neighborhood every Friday. That's my platform.
Could be worth. Friday food trucks. I like it, James.
Yeah. How was your trip?
Well, my trip was exciting to say the least. If you can't tell, I'm a little bit tanner today, but we went down to Cancun with the in-laws. That was a lot of fun.
Cancun.
But it's rock and roll for a second. A little rocky at first, but I will say it was fun to fly down there. We decided to spend the money and upgrade just a little bit on our first class. So I was like, I'm gonna get the party started. So
worth it.
Couple drinks in, and I was like, all right, I'm done. Then the flight attendant like peeked around the corner and was like, "You want another one?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, you took it out, can't put it back in." So I took a pineapple Truly, fantastic. And then we get to Mexico, we get to the resort, start out with the tequila, phenomenal. We're having a great time. Go dinner, everything's great. Went to the bar, great time. Woke up next day, little hungover, tum-tum's not feeling too great. Then Monday, I was like, I'm gonna go work out. Went to go work out. I failed to realize Mexico is the metric system. So they do kilograms. Your boy
you just got to do a math problem every time you put some weight on.
I didn't realize that until like my fourth set, and I was doing rows, and I was like, man, this 105 is really heavy. Yeah, 236 is technically how much I was rowing. So that afternoon, my back was just completely fucked, super fucked. Tuesday, wake up, dude. I got the Montezuma's revenge, hard, and my back hurts. So like getting up and down on the toilet was terrible, absolutely terrible. But saving grace, they had chicken noodle soup. That was the bomb. Had that with some Sprite, ate some Peptos, good to go. Then everything was fine from there on out. On our way back, we had to fly through Austin. Our flight from Austin to DFW got absolutely canceled. So I had to drive from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. to get back home. And then we woke up the next morning to return the car, pick up my car from the DFW airport, and pick up our dog, all while having a really, really bum back. It was not fun, guys. But overall, great trip. Met some really cool people. And I'll just say, when you go to Cancun, make sure you bring plenty of Pepto-Bismol tablets, Alka-Seltzer, and Tums. They come in handy no matter what.
And apparently Advil.
And Advil too. Good to be back, though.
Well, you're traveling in your mid-30s. You're not in your mid-20s anymore,
Never.
AJ. You can't just go and drink on the plane and land and keep the party alive and just think that there's no repercussions headed your way. Those chickens are always
just listening to that story.
Right. Those chickens are always coming home to roost. But at the end of the day,
the squirts
we're
on
glad
Tuesday,
you had fun.
The squirts on Tuesday were not because of my drinking. That was because of a bum hamburger at like 12 o'clock at night. Shouldn't have done that.
So you're telling me you could have done a Burger Boys review? No, I'm kidding.
Hamburguesa malo.
I would have done one and then be like, man, that was really good. And the next day, like, it was terrible. Don't ever do it again.
Right.
Overall,
right.
great trip. Great trip. Had so much fun.
Hell yeah. Yeah. We honestly, we need to do a traveling segment with the Baseline Bums. We need to do some more like group trips if we can manage that at some point. But yeah, guys, we got some Spurs topics to dive into. A little bit of Project Marvel update. I know this is a topic that we've talked about
Zip up the suits and head into the comments.
Right, exactly. Right, our TikTok comment section was absolutely flooded with all kinds of interesting takes. People saying, "Hey, why not fix the roads and the schools rather than build a stadium for the Spurs?" And honestly, it's really crazy and a little bit inspiring to see the city really fired up. Now that we've had a lot of time for that to kind of settle in, and we see the Labor Day protest yesterday, well, how are you guys feeling about Project Marvel now?
No changes here. I still say, you know, we gotta build this thing, and it's got to get done. And Mayor Jones has just not changed her tact, so why would I change mine?
Yeah, she's really kind of balancing a really interesting line there because she can't really campaign against it because she is the mayor. So this is going to get really interesting to see how that all works out. San Antonio Spurs are hosting a kind of a kickoff campaign down in the east side, like Idlewild Brewing or something like that. So, you know, obviously the Spurs are all in. I think the city is going to realize that this is great for the city because regardless of the money that we could be putting to roads, are they really going to do it?
Right.
At least we know what this is going to do.
We know how road work works around San Antonio.
Right. I saw the floods.
And there's already schools closing in San Antonio ISD, and this is pre-Project Marvel, so it's not exactly like schools are popping up all over San Antonio, and Project Marvel wouldn't really affect that.
And yeah, even such, I think that's the most important thing to remember is that it's not a one or the other kind of thing. You know, this is largely coming from buckets of money that do not affect schools, do not affect roads, do not affect care for those that need it. You know, this is money from the state, money from tax zones, you know, things like that. And that's things that people need to educate themselves on.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Right, because that was probably the loudest portion of, I'm just going to say, our comment section, and that was a lot of people saying, why not the schools, why not the roads? And if they're coming from out of pockets or out of town pockets, you know, from the tourism section of our funds, it's like, then what's the issue here? It's going to be the hotels and the rental cars that are being taxed.
I'm never going to poo-poo those concerns as illegitimate or anything like that. Of course, they're legitimate and should be addressed. But at the same time, San Antonio's number 2 industry is tourism. And without that, I don't really want to think of what this city is.
But also keep in mind the people that are coming to San Antonio, a lot of them come on conventions and they're not even paying for the hotel or the rental car. So for the most part, like these big companies are basically putting the money back into it. So more times than not, you go to those conventions and there's coaches from all around the state. There's international conventions. There's national conventions. I mean, a lot of that money goes towards that. Like actually all the money goes to the tax. So you look at that and the people that are buying it are probably coming from a corporate card. So probably the big dudes or they're expensing it. So it's basically how the money goes all the way around. That's literally what it comes down to. So I think people kind of lose focus of that too, that, yeah, I mean, we do have a lot of families and people that come for things and whatnot, but a lot of it's business. A lot of it's business.
Right. Yeah, and if it's not corporate, it's stuff like Final Four weekend where you see, Houston dollars being spent. You got Duke fans spending money, people from Florida, Auburn fans spending money, and it's literally so many out of town dollars coming in that would have no business being here otherwise.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah, absolutely.
and
We got to go
it's
back and
something we need to
check the
continue.
record, but yeah, well, we got to go back and check the record, but I'm pretty sure we talked about it on this podcast whenever the number came out. And the number was during that week of or weekend of Final Four, $440 million was generated by the city of San Antonio. And that's just on a weekend. And not to mention all the people that came around it. And that was after all this stuff came out. So it wasn't just like this is a good idea. Like this will generate a lot of money because now you have a Final Four every other year. Now you have the men's, the women's, the men's, the women's, or you have a chance at getting a CFP game. Wouldn't that be cool? Where you have San Antonio in like the quarterfinals or the semifinals of a college football playoff.
Trust me, I've seen enough chatter from talking heads that cover college sports, college football, college basketball. They love it here. If they could have an annual Final Four CFP rotation between San Antonio and Indianapolis, I think the media would be in absolute hog heaven.
Yes. And I'm so glad you brought that up because that's exactly what every single fan and everybody we talked to Final Four weekend that came down here to San Antonio, they loved the food, they loved the environment, they loved that it was a big city but didn't feel like it was like overrun and people were like all up in your business. They were like, it feels like a small town, but it's a big city, and everyone was loving it. And so I feel like this is just a really, really good way to get more people to San Antonio to feel that same exact way.
Yeah. Well, It doesn't take 2 hours to get across town, and there's no 10-lane superhighways. So,
Yeah,
it is the best of both worlds on its best days. But
for sure.
sometimes we trip over our own dicks getting to those best days.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Well, I just had a buddy go down there for the weekend. Him and his wife went down there for a weekend. They were tourists, so they would have been paying the tax, which would be nice. But so they went down there. They said it was awesome. We had a great time. Did all the touristy things. The only thing was it wasn't our best day weather-wise, and it was like 100 degrees plus. And they're like, Jesus Christ, it's hotter than shit outside. That was the only complaint. Yeah. But you can't control that. You know what you're getting into in South Texas.
Right. That's just Texas in a nutshell. You just
in August especially.
Right. That's just you run the risk of just sweating just beads of sweat down your back at all times, or at least I do. I don't know how
to
y'all
quote Bill
roll.
Clinton in Family Guy, first one to have a bead and neck sweat reach their butt crack wins.
Dude, but all in all, I mean, I really think that this once the voters, I do think there's pretty good even amount of people who are going to vote yes and no, but I do feel that the no's just make a lot more noise than the yeses. I will say that I do know of people who have completely flipped on Mayor Ortiz. They're just like, I voted for her, but this really, really pisses me off that she's doing this to the Spurs. So I know people that are not happy about it. So, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of tightrope she walks on this one. But all in all, like if the Spurs are going to back it and they're going to be pushing for it, and if you're going to get the Coyote and the Hype Squad to do the kickoff campaign, bro.
And I'm sure that the Spurs know this.
Big dogs are out.
But information is key, and you have to get the word out in an odd numbered election year. You just have to, because turnout will be depressed regardless. It's just how things work. And so you need to media blitz, you need to blitz in the community, be present, be out there, drive voters to the polls, get them there any way you can.
You need a slogan.
Yeah. It's a super catchy slogan, and Manu Ginobili saying it is what we need. But at the same time,
Has to be in
yes,
Spanish.
yes, it needs to be in Spanish. But all of the
God,
Little
all
Josh
of
Primo
the
cost himself so much money by being a creep. All he had to do was just be a serviceable player and have that last name in San Antonio.
Primo picks,
All he had to
Josh
do was
Primo.
just stick around for a few years.
Oh, I don't think we wanted them to stick around a few
No,
years.
no, no, no. Like I said, all he had
He
to
was
do
sticking
was not
something
be a
else around,
creep.
that's for sure.
Yeah.
um, oh my goodness, Josh Primo mentioned.
What a poor kid.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. But I mean, just to get back to some Project Marvel stuff, just all of the protest stuff that happened yesterday with local labor unions, and everyone calling for additional benefits to be added to the term sheet. Things like some healthcare options, increased wages, like affordable housing. It's like, um, are you thinking that they're asking for too much at this point?
hmm I just don't think they're thinking practically. Why is it on the Spurs, a private business, to worry about affordable public housing? That's your job.
Yeah, that's kind of what I
Well,
was
also,
thinking as well.
but also, if you know how kind of arenas work, they typically staff those buildings with temporary staffing, and they put that on the third party company in order to do those benefits and stuff. So they're not really fully involved in that aspect. So I think it's just people who need to kind of look a little deeper into what's going on.
Yeah, it sounds like some people might have more of a problem with companies like Aramark than the Spurs.
Right. Right, because it's not the Spurs' responsibility to build up the surrounding community, except if Project Marvel goes through, then they've pledged, "Hey, we're going to put fat stacks into the surrounding community." So it's like, why not take that deal?
But they are a business incentivized to drum up business, not residents.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, sure, would if they were providing healthcare options for everyone, would that be wonderful? Yeah, of course, but that's not necessarily what their job is, and they're wanting more money for everyone involved, and it's like I'm starting to I'm starting to see how this house of cards falls apart and how a lot of this may potentially just get drowned in bureaucracy.
Well, I will say this: if you want to go a little step further, that's kind of on our federal government, right? Like, did we just talk about that? Like, just it's literally if we had
Oh, let's get into
socialized,
this. This is a
yeah,
fun
if we had
off-season topic.
if we had socialized healthcare, we wouldn't be talking about additional benefits. If we had livable wages, we would be talking about higher wages. But that's not the reality we live in, unfortunately. So,
But let's get
like,
into
it
the
sounds
real
crazy.
question.
It
Where
sounds
is
nice.
Donald Trump?
Who's on the
I
Epstein
saw him
list?
today.
I'm just fucking with y'all.
It's like, have you seen his hands? But I mean, if you want to really like start digging into like the big issues, like they start at a much bigger level than the Spurs and San
Mhm.
Antonio and Texas for that matter. So that's kind of what I'm getting at, is that if you really want your voices to be heard, like there's bigger elections that you need to be talking about too.
Absolutely, absolutely. And those elections do not usually happen in years like this. And so that's why, attention to specific issues in these kinds of years is important.
Absolutely.
What one thing that really pisses me off, and I'm sure it pisses you guys off, is like, well, if they've won, we'd be easy. Like, I hate that argument so much because we've won so much, and we're on like we're just on a 10-year slump. It's 10 years. Like, there's so many other franchises that have much longer droughts than that. So let's not even get started with like, have you guys seen Wemby lately?
Right. And it's not even 10 years. Like in 2018, we were a solid team. Like
Yeah.
we were making noise. Like we were one play away from being true contenders that year. And
Yeah.
I'm not, we're not too far removed from that. Just several years. So we as Spurs fans to sit there and be like, we should be winning during that time. We're fucking spoiled to have that attitude.
Even in 2021, 2021, the shortened season, it was only 72 games. They were 19-14, 33 games into that season, 5th place in the Western Conference, I believe. And then COVID hit the team, and they had to play like 39 games in like 45 or in like 68 days or something like that. Some ridiculous number. And they never recovered. They were never the same.
Yeah.
This was after the bubble. This was the next season. And they were, like I said, like 4th or 5th in the West. And then COVID hit, and they had to like suspend the season for about a week of just the Spurs. And then when they got back to games, they had to make them up really quickly.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
And they just never were the same.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, and also, like, guys, like Wemby he's been eating his protein. That's for sure.
Well, he's been playing well somewhere. We know that.
Yeah. Mark Stein reported, was it today or yesterday, that he was playing out in California, and apparently he was hooping. So
let's get into a little Wemby glazing, y'all, shall we?
Absolutely.
Dude, I've been saying it all off season. I don't think the NBA is ready for year 3 Wemby.
I don't think Spurs fans are ready for year 3 Wemby, just from what I see in the idle chat on Twitter, honestly.
Right. I mean, I think that we know what to expect from him defensively. You know that he's going to be leading the league in blocks. He's going to literally deter people on fast breaks, push people out to the 3-point line. He's going to do all of that stuff. But if he just gets a little bit more efficient on offense, lowers that 3-point shooting attempts per game a little bit, limits the side steps, step back threes, takes more of them within the flow of the offense, I think we're going to see him score 28, 29, maybe 30 points a game, maybe lead the league in rebounds while leading the league in blocks. It's like,
it's not out of the question. It's right there. Like, if you're going on averages, like, it's right there. And all he has to do is really make 2 more threes or 3 more buckets, and he's at 30 points.
And I don't think people are conceptualizing even what 24-11 was. Maybe it was because he didn't play a lot of games, but like 24-11, 4-4 at 21 years old is insane productivity.
With some exclamation point games like Christmas Day.
Yeah. And I think just the natural progression of that, like you said, AJ, just better shot selection, getting a little bit more efficient, a little stronger. It doesn't take much to get from 24 to 28.
No, not at all. Especially when you're going to have somebody like De'Aaron Fox that you can gel with, get more comfortable, who can really get you the ball where you are going to succeed. Where, last year it was Chris Paul, but Chris Paul can't really physically get to those spots anymore. So sometimes he was having to settle for, for lack of a better term, a little bit lazy pass. I don't think De'Aaron Fox is necessarily going to do that. I think he's going to be able to get downhill, get into the lane, and get Wemby the ball where he needs it more consistently than Chris Paul was last year.
And Dylan Harper, who's another primary ball handler.
And on top of that,
someone who can create and work off of Wemby.
Yeah. And they all know it's Wemby's team. They all know it's like it's his team. We got to get him the ball. And we're not going to be dicking around with, like, someone shooting a shot out of rhythm or not passing him the ball, because those guys are now on the bench because we're not going
to be messing around with experiments. Roles are more well defined. No more Point Sohan experiment. He can be what we've envisioned him to be. It's really, for guys like that, for guys like Vassell, it's sink or swim now more than ever.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's can you on limited shots improve your efficiency so that when you play your 20 minutes a game, because it's not going to be mid 30s like it once was, you're going to maybe play 20 something, low 20s per game, because now that Dylan Harper's in there and he's agreed to kind of come off the bench and assume that Manu Ginobili style role for a little bit, I don't think that Devin Vassell is going to have nearly as much of the offensive load. So I think that he's going to have to improve efficiency if he's going to get those kind of minutes.
Yeah, and like I said, roles are defined now. So you really don't have that excuse of playing out of position or, so many things changing around you. You can focus on that, on your job now. And
Yep.
and to throw another cliche out, be a star in your role. Probably more so than these guys have ever had a chance to do.
Yeah, exactly. I think the one position I wish that we had a little bit more of a clear future for was our power forward position. I wish that we had somebody alongside of Sohan that we could kind of grow with a little bit, but I'm okay with kind of having, Sohan out there, being able to run Harrison Barnes at various times, being able to run two bigs with either Olynyk or Cornette out there with Wemby. I'm okay with the versatility that we have, but deep down, I just would like somebody that can kind of help space the floor with Wemby a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's
we might end up trading for somebody.
Yeah, and
if
we
Devin
have
Vassell
plenty of trade bait. So,
dude, if Devin Vassell comes out the first month and just balls out or whatever, we can sell him high. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't see why, a team like the Lakers or, maybe like Minnesota or a team that could use a little bit more offensive firepower. I don't see why they couldn't snag a guy like Devin Vassell if the deal made sense.
Devin Vassell for Nikola Jokic, straight up. Who says no?
Uh definitely not
Dep-
definitely not 2K for me. I'm gonna override that shit right now. Boom, boom.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be an interesting season, but I'm just excited that we have something to look forward to. It feels very much like the Texas Tech football season. I'm really excited about it. And guys, I'm going to say it right now because I brought it up. The Texas Tech fan base right now is giving me 2008 vibes. Like the student section is hype. Like they got there early and they stayed. And also on top of that, there's so many people so many students at that game that closed the gate. Like, hey, we're done. Go to Bar PM. Like that's how full it was. So
Can't believe Bar PM is still open.
That's
yeah, dude.
crazy.
Yeah,
The amount of times I've been kicked out of Bar PM for taking people's shots.
Hey, I went there a couple of years ago. I couldn't believe that place was still open.
Can you still smoke? I'm
Jeez.
sure you can still smoke cigs in there too.
Oh, I'm sure you can buy cigarettes there.
But there was that funk band that played every Thursday, Funk Yeah, who were badass, and that was fun. That was a good vibe. But
Oh yeah.
but I think Texas Tech had 2000 rallying cry that we had whenever we were freshmen. So I feel good about it.
It was funny.
2008 vibes is a very, very strong statement because not only did we have an amazing time watching that Texas Tech Red Raider football team that year, but man, holy shit, just the experience that some of those games brought us was just chaotic
Insane.
and wonderful. Yeah, just insane. Just one of
memories that I have, but I don't remember.
Right.
So
we browned out.
So everyone knows and listening here, I'm a few years younger than these guys, and I was talking about something with my brother this weekend when we were watching the start of the Tech game, and he graduated from Tech in 2007, and so he was in the band for his 4 years up there, and we were just talking, and I was like, I don't want to watch the UAPB game because if it's close, I don't want to watch it. Like the ACU game last year, I didn't want to watch that. Just does nothing but make me mad. And, like after it's 14-21 to nothing, the game is over against a team like that. So, I just have better things to do with my evening. But I was telling my brother, I was like, you went to school at a time where you were conditioned to expect good things to happen because you saw good things happening. I went to school when I was conditioned for shit. Like, I went to school during the Tuberville era, during the Kingsbury
Ooh.
era. Like,
Not bad.
I was at the 66-6 Oklahoma State game.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Hey.
And so it is so hard for me to have that kind of hope. But AJ, I really hope you're right.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if I have Michael Crabtree,
just
Graham
watching-
Harrell
just
vibes,
seeing
but
it. I wouldn't say
We'll
that
see.
is just all around vibes. Like our defense, I think our defense looks pretty damn good. But we also
we're
just
gonna have
played
to
high
get-
school too. So there's that.
We're gonna have to get Round Ball on the show during the last week of the season for the West Virginia game.
absolutely.
You mean we're closing out a 12-0 season?
Hopefully.
Mm.
Taking the John Denver trophy home that I've made up in my head.
That John Denver's full of shit, man.
Yeah, man.
John Sunshine on my goddamn toes, Denver.
I'm just excited about football season again. It just makes my heart warm whenever I see just big schools going at it and stuff, and seeing our alma mater come out and seeing the band and whatnot. Just man, just makes my nipples hard.
Oh,
Before we change the subject, I saw Mike say something last week, and you can see I can't get to the Dome on Saturday because our babysitter plans fell through. But if you can get to the Alamo Dome this Saturday for UTSA Texas State, get there. Support the Roadrunners. They did lose last week, but they looked pretty good. They gave A&M a little bit of a scare. So support
Dude,
the Roadrunners. It's a good time. Yeah, good teams win, great teams cover. It's a good time. Go out there, go to the Dome, get you some beers and cheer on some good football. So hopefully we can get a little bit of revenge on those Bobcats from last year, because that was
if Jeff Traylor is going to be in their ass all week about that game, and it's gonna be good
because last year was embarrassing.
Yeah, it's gonna be good coaching, that's for sure. So Mimi,
yeah,
if you can get there, get there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Support, basically
support
all San Antonio sports. It doesn't matter if we're talking Missions baseball, we're talking Roadrunner sports, we're talking the Spurs, Project Marvels. You support it, guys.
This is a proudly San Antonio podcast.
Scorpions, Iguanas, the Dragons, all those. The Gunslingers.
Right. The
Rampage. Are still a thing.
Are they really?
Yeah, there's like some sort of AFL league that has the Gunslingers. I think they play it.
Absolutely. Shout out to one of our followers, the Masked Bandit of San Antonio.
Nice.
He goes to a lot of the San Antonio Gunslinger games and makes appearances and takes pictures.
Love it.
He's one of our followers on TikTok. Shout out to the Masked Bandit of San Antonio.
Well, speaking of, also, who was it? Someone was on a podcast. I forgot who it is, but she was saying that the Alamo Dome is booked like 98% of the time. Like, you'll be surprised how much it is actually booked, because a lot of the time, and Rob, you probably know more about this, the loading and unloading part takes a good couple of days, a week or so. So they have to get that space rented for that time. So it may stuff's going on, but stuff's going on. So another reason why we should definitely redo the Dome is because if we redo the Dome, then and we do Project Marvel, that'll open up the AT&T or the Frost Bank Center, and we can still use that to kind of move some of those events from the Alamo Dome over there and then get bigger stuff at the Alamo Dome. So like, it just makes sense all around to kind of bring it back to Project Marvel real quick. So that's something I just popped in my head right now, and I think it's a great idea to do it.
And no more rodeo road trip.
Project
Marvel goes through. They have a venue for the rodeo dedicated in the AT&T Center. So no more rodeo road trip.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's a good point that you brought up earlier, AJ, with like the amount of time you need in between events and stuff like that. It's not like the Alamo Dome isn't being booked out. It will just receive a higher level of gigs. Essentially, it'll get booked out for better things with updated renovations, when you can actually utilize the whole Alamo Dome properly, and it's not something that you're having to wall off an entire third of the Alamo Dome just to have that event there.
And if I may, just real quick on Project Marvel, people need to stop comparing the Spurs situation to the Clippers situation. Okay? Nobody should be compared to the Clippers situation because Steve Ballmer is one of the richest men on earth. If he wants to build a $5 billion playground for the Clippers, he can build 12 of them and still have enough money to buy like half the league. And that the fact that he financed the Intuit Dome should not be held as a strike against the Spurs seeking private or seeking public money. Steve Ballmer is an exception, not the rule. And also, if you look at that, they're charging upwards of $70, $80 for parking in that facility. So that's what happens when you have these privately funded ventures. They're trying to get their money back, and they're going to nickel and dime you in different ways that a publicly funded venture might not.
Right. And they're going to do it aggressively. Like you're going to
Yeah.
see, 40, 50, $60 to park. You're going to have a $25, $30 sandwich and a beer like combo in the stadium. It's just going to be all of those expenses are just going to be reflected everywhere else.
Yeah.
So it's just a situation where, you're just passing the buck down later.
And so, that's just something I wanted to say I'd seen a lot of in the past few weeks is just don't compare really anything to that because that's truly just an exception.
Could you imagine if San Antonio had $70 parking for like just a regular game or any event? The amount of
I can't even imagine
torches
30
in downtown would be insane.
Be looking like Charlottesville 2017.
And that was another thing that people were complaining about. They were like, downtown is already a dumpster fire for traffic, and now parking is going to be even worse. And
so let's not do anything about it.
Right, exactly. So it's like, honestly, that's such a great point. I think this will kind of open things up and allow the downtown space to breathe a little bit more because it's like it's growing the nucleus.
Well, we just need to update it altogether anyway. And that's what they're doing. A lot of it is what they're doing already. That's why it's a pain in the ass sometimes to go downtown because they're building new, better hotels and all these other things. And I mean, it's going to take time. We all know this, but like once it's all done, you're going to look back going, wow, that's awesome. And then we can start it all over again from the day one, because by then we're going to need to update some other thing.
To paraphrase Nacho Libre, within the city lies its nucleus. And that's what we're working on.
Exactly. Any major city needs a really thriving heart. The core has to be strong. And in San Antonio, a lot of that is lacking. And you go to other...
Marvel is the mitochondria of the city.
Right, exactly. We need some God damn it. I was trying to think of some Cell jokes and I just fell blank right on my head. Just science failed me.
Sometimes the power goes out in your head.
Right. But
when that happens.
Right. You need to trust the Solar Scouts. Thanks for the alley-oop. Very Steve Nash of you. But if you go to the solarscouts.com/bums, the Solar Scouts will help you figure out which solar plan makes sense for you. They have really, really high quality solar panels. They'll put them right on your roof. We've been getting a lot of really good sun here in Texas. And we know that the grid is all over the place. You can be left without power if it's a overheating situation or if there's some flooding. You need a reliable backup for you and your family. Our reliable friends at Solar Scouts will help you out. Go to solarscouts.com/bums. Figure out which plan makes sense for you and your fam.
Yeah, and watch those videos.
Driving back into the city on Sunday coming from Houston, I saw some big old lightning strikes, and I know some people were losing power that wouldn't have if they went to the Solar Scouts.
Yep. Absolutely.
Check out those videos. Those are real testimonials. So they're not fake. I asked.
Absolutely. And I love seeing all of the pictures of how they can get creative, putting all the panels on roofs and really just maximizing the efficiency. And it really does help people, lower their bill. So shout out to the Solar Scouts doing some great work over there. But guys, is there any other Spurs topics or any other stuff that y'all are wanting to get at basketball wise?
What do y'all think about? Have you guys been following Luka play basketball?
Haven't been following the Euros at all.
He's been cooking.
He's been hooping, and he looks bouncy. Like he doesn't look like he has concrete shoes on anymore, and that's a little concerning. And he's able to get back on defense, which is interesting. His rotations are actually there, so we'll see kind of what happens this year. But man, he's
absolutely
here.
I'm glad you brought that up because obviously you see the 33 points a game and you're like, okay, that's what Luka does. That's just Luka being Luka. But then you see the over 3 steals a game and he's doing exactly what you said, AJ. He's getting back on defense. You're seeing a little bit more active hands, active feet. The couple times I've watched him, he looks a little bit rejuvenated. And I think that this may be the Luka MVP year. This
maybe.
I know we've talked about it for a couple years now, but I think that, LeBron taking a little step back, Luka kind of taking a vengeful step forward might just lead to him walking away with the MVP this season. But I know that Jokic, SGA, and maybe even Wembanyama is going to have something to say about it.
Well, the Lakers will need that kind of season from Luka to kind of stay where they are or expect to be in the West.
Do you guys think that LeBron James hooked Luka up with the steroids guy?
Luka could only be so lucky.
Right. Yeah, I don't
the tinfoil hats are on.
Yeah.
But I mean, he looks great, but also Jokic looks great. And I guess, James, I think you brought this up before we started recording. Some shocking takes. Do you guys want to? Do you have any of those right now? Something you want to go on a limb and see if you're right?
So I guess mine. And I've hinted at it at the previous podcast, but I think I'm only more emboldened by what I've heard from Dylan Harper. I'm gonna say that Dylan Harper is not a final or will not win Rookie of the Year, but will be a finalist for Sixth Man.
That's a bold take. That's a very bold take. I mean, he's gonna have opportunities to perform off the bench, and if it's a situation where he doesn't start routinely, but ends up producing a lot in that role, I could see him being in that conversation if we're good enough.
Yeah. Well, and then a lot of award conversation will hinge on that very point. If we're good enough, you got to take the leap. But I've been encouraged by what I've heard out of Dylan Harper and his camp on the willingness to come off the bench,
right,
and embrace that role. So I think if I'm looking for a bold take, that might be it right now.
I just hope that he doesn't fall under he's a rookie. Devin Vassell's getting paid more money, so he's not coming off first. That's when the NBA gets real. When the guy next to you makes more money, so he gets the nod, not you.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see, but
oh yeah. I mean, I was on a live recently where I was saying that we were ranking our top 10 players under 25, and I put Dylan Harper at 10.
Nice.
Because I was like,
I expectations.
I think that he legitimately has that high of ceiling. And when we look at our draft picks in Spurs history, he's the 4th highest. It's like it should not be a guy that we're glossed over. It's like only Hall of Fame legends have been picked ahead of him. So we shouldn't expect him to be anything less.
Who did you have
guys have? Who was it one?
Was Wemby.
I don't know who you're talking about. Rob,
y'all got any bold takes?
My bold take, and it was something I was talking on a live recently. I think the Magic have a real chance to win the Eastern Conference.
Ooh,
Um, I
Spicy.
th- I think that it's going to be a really shooken up Eastern Conference this year. I think when I look at Franz and the way he's competing, even in Eurobasket play right now, he just seems to be taking a leap forward, not only as a play finisher, as a guy that finishes around the rim, but also as a playmaker, as just a guy that gets everyone else involved. And I think that he is a 3-point shot away from being really, really dangerous and like a perennial first, second all NBA kind of guy. Um, and I think that it's he and Paulo's efficiency that needs to take a step forward. And I think, the acquisition of Desmond Bane's going to help with
that's
that.
huge.
Getting Jalen Suggs back, a lot of things like that is going to kind of alleviate some of that shooting stress on them. But man, I'm thinking the Magic are going to take a really, really big step forward next year, because I think they did a good job addressing their concerns. And I just really, really believe in Franz and Paulo and their skill sets. I think it's going to be scary for teams that are trying to match up with them if they can really figure it out.
And there's a bit of a dearth at the top of the
Mhm.
East. I mean, Boston won't be there. Indiana probably won't be there. New York and Cleveland will probably be back. But even a couple of years ago, when this Orlando team was really young, we saw them take Cleveland to 7 games.
Yep.
And so that ability is there. And so, I don't think that's that crazy. I think seeing the Magic in the Eastern Conference Finals could well be something that we see come May.
Yeah, I mean, if we saw them in the finals, I would be a little surprised, but I think seeing them in the Eastern Conference Finals is
Yeah,
I mean, I almost kind of want to bet on it.
not a bad future.
Nope.
No, but
AJ, you got anything?
yeah, I was about to say, any wild takes?
I think the Nuggets win the West. I think
Okay.
the Nuggets come out first in the West. I
They
think
did a
they
good job
address
addressing.
they address, just like Rob was saying with the Magic. They address all their issues. And I think the issue is Michael Porter Jr. Seeing what he's done this past summer on this podcast and stuff, huge piece of shit person, man. Like, good God, like you're just an
Addition by
asshole.
subtraction.
Like, and you get Cam Johnson in return. I think you address that problem. You get more efficient. I think Yoke looks great in Eurobasket right now. Looks like he lost a few pounds too. So, I just think you put all that together and you took the champions to a game 7, and really you just ran out of steam at the end there. So if you come out, and I mean, now you have that bad taste in your mouth and you realize how important home court advantage is what you really comes down to. So for the Nuggets, like, I do think they're going to be back at the top of the West. I think they're going to be someone that we're going to be talking about in late May as well. So, that's my take. I also think the Spurs are going to be a top 4 team in the West. Not saying we're going to win it, just saying top 4 team.
If I had to give out a watch out for something like that teams wise, I would say either the Bucks in the East or the Warriors in the West. One of those teams is going to miss the play-in entirely.
Yeah,
Hopefully it's the Bucks.
I could also see it being the Warriors if there's some injuries there, like
Sure.
it, like if they, if they
Or if
miss.
Jimmy and Draymond fight each other all year.
I don't know. I mean, for most of the time last year, I mean, there was some little back and forth between them, but honestly, it looked like they were more of like a tag team wrestling duo. It's like, all right, tag me in, and then
And
I'm not 100% sure if that'll fall apart, but if there's an injury, I mean, none of those guys are young.
Yeah.
I just also think that with Jimmy and Draymond, they're now a year older too. And a lot of the times you get more grumpier as you get older. So I feel like we're going to see a lot more grabs from Draymond. So like whenever, I think he's going to get cooked every single time down the court. Like he is
Well,
just that much of a liability at this point. And
and
that's
with
why you're going to see a lot more grabs. He might choke someone out too.
with Jimmy specifically, he's the kind of guy that has a reputation for kind of turning it on when it matters, flipping that switch. But as you get older, to your point, AJ, sometimes that switch don't turn on.
Yeah, sometimes you need a running start.
Right. That switch turns
Sometimes
on
the light
and
bulb is
you're
out.
right. You'll turn it on and it's lukewarm and you're just putting up like a 14, 5, and 5 and you're like, "Oh, that used to be 25, 8, and 7."
Yeah.
Which is so whenever you need a little boost, that's why you need to use Blue Chew #bump. So
Yeah.
just so you can keep it up.
Right.
Don't speak that into existence.
Oh, I hope we do. That means we get paid for this.
Right. It'll be Blue Chew and then Dude Wipes.
That sweet Blue Chew money.
Oh, if we can get the hymns money though, woo!
Oh, that's
You wouldn't know, but
It's not for me, but for y'all, you know.
right.
Yeah, James
Sure.
is proven. Well, I think those are great takes personally. I think both those definitely make sense. I would love to see some stuff how things kind of shake out now. But did you guys know that we are 50 days away from Spurs tip off? We are the
that's-
Admiral away.
David
Spurs
Robinson
tip-off?
away.
Let's go.
Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't really feel that long. Like whenever September starts to roll around, you're like, okay,
Football started, so we got something. We got through the desert.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can see the hardwood over the horizon. Epa.
That's a good one.
But guys, it's starting to feel a little dunky in here.
Dunky.
Should we get to some dunks, gentlemen?
I got
Absolutely.
one.
The fact that Dunkin' Donuts hasn't reached out to us at this point is fucking crazy
No.
to me.
Right.
No,
Right,
I
James.
always remember Stan Verrett back in the day, the Sports Center anchor, used to, whenever he was reading a sports highlight, used to always say a Spurs highlight, used to always say San Antonio runs on Duncan. And so I always think of that.
Missed
But,
opportunities, man.
I have a dunk that reared its ugly head over the weekend. We were talking a little bit about it in the pre-show, but I just want to dunk on the concept of fantasy football. I am in 3 fantasy football leagues this year, and only one of them by choice. My wife is saying that she girl bossed a little too close to the sun this weekend. She texted her sister about a league that we were in last year, just because we hadn't heard anything about it. And it turns out the draft was in 24 hours. So
Nice.
good thing that she asked. And then all of a sudden her family goes and forms some other league that we're in. And so we wound up doing each 3 fantasy drafts this weekend, including one at Dyken Park while the Astros game was going on. So that was a lot of fun. But no, just the fantasy football draft and how there's always that one person in the league who's just excited as a motherfucker about it, and just feel like you're just dragging you by the ankles as you get to that draft. And I don't know if y'all are doing fantasy. AJ, I know you are, but like I'm getting to the point where I don't know these people. Like, I don't know who these people are. Like, I just figured out last week that Nick Chubb is a Texan. I didn't know that.
I stopped playing fantasy football like 3 years ago and only play fantasy basketball because of that exact thing. I was like, I forgot who was on what teams and who's the starter on this team. I'm like, I straight up don't know anymore because I'm only watching basketball.
Like, I can watch football and enjoy it, but it is so hard. The rosters are so big that it's just hard to keep track of. And the off season is so long. It's like, oh yeah, this person is there now. Huh. Okay.
Well, my fantasy stuff starts in June. So I try to keep up with as many things as possible. So that's when I start my prep, just to let you guys know. I'm in 5 leagues and one of them's free. And actually during my delay, I had 2 drafts. I had one at like 6 and we were supposed to be like on the plane. And then I had one at 8 and I was finally on a plane. And yeah, having 2 drafts while you're on flight delays really, really, really fucking sucks.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, it's a lot to deal with. So I don't
drafts.
I don't blame you.
Oh, and a special place in hell for the people that take the full 90 seconds Fuck y'all.
Yeah, the answer is C.
Yeah, you chances are you got 2 or 3 people in the queue already. You just pick one of them.
Yeah, it's not going to make any difference anyways. You're throwing away money.
Yeah.
You're not. Not for me.
So.
Although I'm not gonna lie, like I do seem to win money in fantasy basketball every year because that is more of like a kind of understanding who's getting minutes, like who's
Right.
getting who just got hurt, who's getting those minutes now, and if you kind of pay attention to the rotations, it's money in the bank.
It's also a lot more engaging too because you have to be on the ball. If you're not, you're getting goose eggs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You got to set your lineup every day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rob, who you dunking on?
I'm gonna dunk on AAU basketball as a
Yeah.
whole.
Worthy.
Yeah, I was just in a live not too long ago, and it was with a couple of younger guys that are just now getting to college, and they just came out of AAU basketball. And it just really seems like things haven't changed even from when I was playing AAU basketball almost 20 years ago, where it was just an over bloated showcase of corporations and large entities just really funding tournaments that just glorify themselves and don't really hone in on helping the kids grow their skills at all. And to see these kids just have a very similar experience to what I had, and um, AAU will kind of chew you up and spit you out. So you know, I see why Euro basketball is gaining in popularity because you actually see players, properly back cut. They know they know how to position themselves on the short corner, the free throw line extended. They know how to really manipulate the game in ways that aren't isolation, one-on-one basketball, dribble drives, transition lobs, things like that, where that's pretty much all you see in AAU. And, I did really well in AAU. There was a lot of tournaments where I averaged over 25 points a game and I fucking crushed it. But I don't feel like I was better for playing in AAU. Like, I don't think I learned anything, in the years that I spent in AAU. And I think when you're playing against some of the best competition, you should actually be taking away something from that. And I just don't think that's the environment kids are in now. And it sucks that it hasn't gotten better in 2 decades.
I remember Kobe Bryant about a decade or so ago harping on this exact thing is, you watch European basketball and they actually develop their players. AAU basketball does not develop players.
It just looks like a game of 2K.
You just roll the ball out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3-pointers and layups, dunks. That's all we got.
And that was
that's
why
one thing if you're getting them the right way, and running and developing the offense. And like you said, Rob, kind of knowing how to get there. But that's not what's happening.
No, it's just who can recruit the best, who can get the right people to come to your team. And it's because you have the best resources, you have the best access to scouts. You're going to be able to fly them to the biggest tournaments in Atlanta, into Vegas, into Orlando. You have the funding to do all that. I know because RC Buford was swiping the black card for our team. He was literally just buying us all dinner, buying us flights, buying us jerseys. And like, he just, just infinite money glitch, just would spend all of it. And, not everyone has access to that. And even when we did have access to that, it didn't mean we were learning anything or growing as players. And it just sucks it's still that way. But yeah, it's dunking on AAU just is, yeah. I feel like I need
in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I need to do that once a year.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
It's a worthy dunk.
Absolutely.
Pito, who are you dunking on?
Well, I'm going to dunk on the Austin airport. Yeah, the Austin airport. Because one, it sucks. I hate it. And 2, it sucks. And 3, it sucks a little more. So 1, obviously our flight was delayed, canceled. But on top of that, the workers that were assisting us were just absolutely incompetent people. And the overall experience in the Austin airport was terrible. The bathroom smelled like sewage. Was not a great place to kind of hang out. And I hope I never have to go through there again. And also on top of that, the carousel for your bags is under construction right now. So whenever there's more than like 2 or 3 flights, it's very crowded very quickly. And it's just as a shit show of a time to get your bag. I know because whenever our flight got canceled, we were like, all right, screw it. We're going to drive up. I had to go get my bag. I waited 2 hours from by the time I requested my bag to the time that I finally got it. 2 hours went by. And all they needed was 1 bag, my bag and my wife's bag. That's all we need, 2 bags. And it took that long to get 2 bags. And it's like, I understand you have shit coming in, but also I sent this request a long time ago and we're like on the lows right now. Like it hasn't gone up yet. Like there's nothing coming in. Go get my bag. So it was just
Fly San Antonio.
Nightmare. It was a nightmare. Well, I live in a hub. I shouldn't have even gone through Austin, but we did.
Fair enough.
So we learned that lesson. We're not going to do that again. So
yeah. Austin, I mean, and unfortunately, somebody that flew out of that same airport last year, a lot of it was under construction then too. So I don't know when that's going to change. I feel very similar as somebody that lived just a few minutes away from that airport not too long ago.
And then we got our car. The best part, we got our car, went to the gas station that was like right outside, pulled up, and it was like, it's late, 11 o'clock at night. Crackhead outside and some sketchy individuals around there. And I was like, you know what? We're gonna go to the next one. How's that? So we pull out and go to the next one. It was a QT that was a little better, not much, just more lit. So there was also a police officer inside doing security. So
that's good.
Yeah. Right. It's more light so you can see how you're getting mugged.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. After that drive, dude, my back was so fucked. It was ridiculous. It was so bad. But we're feeling good now. We're good now. Well, I can swing golf club.
Those are some worthy dunks right there, I tell you.
Absolutely.
Very worthy dunks.
Absolutely. Everyone, if you're still here with us after those wonderful dunks, we appreciate you. We love you. This podcast would not be the same without you. We not only love you, but we love you hard over here. We love you hard over here. None of this would be the same without you, without your comments, your likes, your shares, your engagement, whether you're listening to this on YouTube, on TikTok, on Apple Podcast, Instagram, if you're seeing our clips on Twitter, anywhere, everywhere. We appreciate you being a bum from wherever you are. And that being said, let's end this episode the same way we end all the episodes, shall we, gentlemen?
Sure.
And that's with a go. Spurs. A go. Bum, 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 bum.